I want to talk a little bit about movie sequels. I'm specifically thinking about the Star Wars series at the moment. I mean, you had the original trilogy where George Lucas said that was my original single story that he broke up into 3 parts. Alright, so you got the original trilogy of Star Wars. It started in 1977 with Episode 4. Episode 5 came out in 1980, and Episode 6 came out in 1983. That would be the original Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those are the movies that starred Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford as Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia. And then if you go back into the Star Wars timeline a couple of years, you have Episode 1, 2, and 3, which started in 1999, of course starring Ewan McGregor and Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen and Jar Jar Binks. And then now you go forward in time to the sequel trilogy, which is the ones with John Boyega and can't think of her name. Yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of the sequel trilogy. And then we go back again a little bit for Rogue One, and now even further back for this new Han Solo movie. This is kind of where the Han Solo movie is in the timeline here. The weird thing is, the original trilogy, which is in the middle of the story, is the oldest. The sequel trilogy, yeah, that kind of makes sense, but then the prequel trilogy is kind of in the, now it's in the middle, so it's a little confusing. Here, let me show you something here. I got a pen here. Right? Don't need this. Here, let me show you here. Here's the original. Does this pen even work? I got a bad pen here. All right, so here we go. Here's the timeline. Here is the original 1977 A New Hope. Episode 4. Episode 5. That's Empire Strikes Back. A little bit later, that's Return of the Jedi, Episode 6. Okay. We go back even further in time, which, man, this Sharpie's not doing good either. To Episode 1. That's Phantom Menace. That's Jar Jar Binks. Everybody loves Jar Jar, right?
Missy called Jar Jar Binks. Missy, your humble servant.
A few more years later in the timeline, Episode 2, that's Attack of the Clones. There, so that's Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now, this is where it gets interesting. That's Rogue One. Happens right before Episode 4. And I apologize, this Sharpie it's not the best. The new Han Solo movie happens right here. Han Solo movie is right there. So it happens 10 years before A New Hope. But the Millennium Falcon looks brand new. Oh, and I forgot about the sequel trilogy. So Last Jedi, it's right there. Of course you can't see it because my pen is dead now. But yeah, there you go. It's a whole timeline on a cup. Coming, Peaches. I see ya. I see you there, Peaches. Which brings us to the new Solo movie, which is set 10 years before A New Hope, and it stars Alden Ehrenreich and Donald Glover, Emilia Clarke, and guy from Zombieland. Woody Harrelson. Yeah. Obviously, this behind me is not from the movie or the trailer or anything. This is from the Kinect game. The number one question that I have about this movie is, why does the Millennium Falcon, which should look like this, by the way, should look like this, you know, kind of beat up and how come it's has that thing on the front of it? What's the deal? What's the deal with that? It looks brand new inside. It's only 10 years from A New Hope. I mean, like I was showing you here on my cup here, here's A New Hope right here, and then here's the Han Solo movie right there. It's only 10 years. It's only 10 years different. The other question that I have is really, do we need a Han Solo movie? Did we need to know where Han Solo comes from? Honestly, I think it ruins a little bit of the mystique of the character to see every little detail of what happened to him when he was younger. I mean, do you remember in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, we saw the scene on the train with young Indy, and it explained pretty much everything in 5 minutes. Everything about that character was explained in 5 minutes, and honestly, it just didn't really work for me. So I hope in this movie that they don't explain every little thing about Han Solo. I mean, we already know Lego has spoiled the whole Kessel Run thing. We also know that he meets Chewbacca, he wins the Millennium Falcon. There he stands back there. I hope everything is not explained about the character in this one movie. That said, it looks pretty interesting. I think I might like it a little bit better than Rogue One, but what are your thoughts on this movie that's coming out in just a couple of days? They were showing scenes of them building a full-size Millennium Falcon right there in downtown Hollywood. I mean, is it unbelievable? So yeah, there's the trailer. There's young Han Solo tearing it up down the streets of some planet or something. I don't really know where this is. There's the new Falcon. It looks brand new inside, which it bothers me just a little bit. It's only 10 years old. It shouldn't look that bad in A New Hope. There was a Tallahassee. There's Donald Glover. I don't know who that lady is. There's Chewbacca, no longer played by Peter Mayhew, by the way. Starring a bunch of people you don't know. Emilia Clarke. I guess she's in that show Game of Thrones. And wasn't she Sarah Connor in that terrible Terminator movie? And there they are being chased by TIE fighters. Yeah, it's okay. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Oh my gosh, there's a giant tentacle!
All right, so what are your thoughts on these sequels that Disney is constantly making now? But I'm afraid that we're just going to get sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel forever. And honestly, I feel like these sequels, I mean, they all have good points to them, but there are parts of them that just kind of didn't ruin my childhood kind of stuff, but they kind of ruin the mystique about things. I mean, how would you feel about a Boba Fett movie where they explained every little thing about Boba Fett? Oh yeah, they did that with episode 2, kinda. Let me know your thoughts on the Star Wars movies in general, and if you think that the Solo movie is going to be any good. Thank you all for watching, have a great day, and we'll see you in the future.
Oh no, my beloved Millennium Falcon! What am I to do?